Ambassador, kung sakali pong pumunta rito yung Afghans, ang kinakatakutan po kasi ng marami, parang nagkaroon ng stereotyping na suicide bombers ito. Also, are we referring to the same IAC created by virtue of EO 163? Is this the same?
Oh, no. That's the old one of President Duterte.
So we have a new one?
No, not yet.
Because this was circa 2022.
Yes.
Nabago na ba yan?
Wala pa. That's
So,
from
iba yun, iba yun.
President Duterte.
I had mentioned the Mr. Senator.
Late, I'm sorry, I'm late.
The ATC, the Anti-Terrorism
Okay.
Council.
Yes.
This-
Senator Tolentino, what we're trying to determine is how the request was made from the United States. And apparently a concept note was provided by Ambassador Romualdez, forwarded to the DFA, reiterated thereafter by the State Department, and thereafter cascaded to a number of agencies. Not all of the agencies thereafter involved, but some of the primary cabinet level ones were already informed. However, in the interest of transparency, are you able to share with us how many Afghan nationals in total the U.S. intends to temporarily house in the Philippines? How many on a per month or a per batch basis would be housed in this country? I think Senator Jinggoy already mentioned our gaping housing gap locally, and the sudden urgency to house aliens and non-nationals suddenly taking primordial concern. Secretary Manalo, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Actually, we have not gone into that kind of detail in our informal consultations with the United States, because they have come back now and again over the past few months to discuss some of the issues involved. All I can say at this point, and I say that because there's really nothing agreed yet, but it seems that there is the possibility, if we were able to have any kind of arrangement, we would be having perhaps a pilot group, maybe a limited number. Now, we haven't even discussed that number yet. To first, we could first see how that pilot group would work, and then we would decide on how to proceed after that. But we have not gone beyond that issue, other than to say we might have a pilot group. But what I can say are the following, and these appear in the concept note and also after further informal talks with the United States. We understand from the U.S. that all Afghans who will be traveling with valid passports and will have already, before they were to arrive, if they were to arrive here, would already have undergone rigorous security vetting and background checks to verify that they have indeed previously worked for the U.S. government, because these will be Afghans who had worked before with the U.S. government. And we've also been informed that all costs would be shouldered by the United States government. Also, the United States would, with Philippine officials, try and select a suitable site where they could be located while they are being processed or vetted. It would, of course, be up to the Philippines. We also mentioned that to them, that if any arrangement, it would be up to the Philippines to impose mobility restrictions and internal movements within the Philippines. The U.S. also committed to us that in the event there are Afghans who come here for processing, that no one would be left behind in the Philippines. And that includes even those who may be denied an SIV, whom we expect will be removed to another country outside the Philippines as soon as their maximum allowable period of stay expires. And therefore, any agreement we feel on this effect with the U.S. must contain provisions regarding the removal of those denied an SIV. There are also a number of points I could.
Yes, Secretary, we're in receipt of your briefer. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, that's correct. So the numbers have not been discussed, but there have been various reports. Perhaps Ambassador Romualdez, you could help us. There are reports that upwards of 1,000 eligible Afghan nationals per month would be sent maybe 1,005 to 2,000 per batch, reaching a total of 30 to 50,000 Afghan nationals to arrive in the Philippines under this effort. Is that correct, Ambassador Romualdez?
Yes, Madam Chair, that is what they were telling us, that they would like to see if they can bring in at least 1,000 per batch. However, I just want to point out that it is really completely
Does
up
it
to
mean
us.
per batch, per month? And the second batch will not come in until the first batch of 1,000 has departed and been processed to go to the United States? Or will there be 30 to 50,000 total Afghans in the Philippines at one time?
It's completely up to us on how we want to proceed with this request. We can have it 1,000 each time, and they will be repatriated to the United States once they receive their SIVs, or they will bring in perhaps 1,000 or 2,000. It depends on the kind of the boarding or lodging that they will provide, which all of these they will be at their expense.
Yes, thank you. I would like to call on Senator Coco Pimentel, who has been raising his hand.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. May I ask, where are these potential Afghan refugees right now?
Ambassador
From the way-
Romualdez.
Yes, from the way I understand it, they are currently located either still in Afghanistan, perhaps some of the family members of this people who worked in the United States with the United States government, but the last conversation I had with the State Department is that some of them are in Pakistan at the moment.
So thank you for that point of information, Madam Chair.
Yes, Senator Tolentino, please.
Ambassador Romualdez, a few questions. If you're willing to answer some. Aside from the United States, there are existing similar SIV programs right now. We have one in Canada, the special immigration measure. We have one in Germany, also applicable to the Afghans. The United Kingdom has the Afghan Relocations and Assistance Policy, or ARAP. Australia has a program known as the Afghan Locally Engaged Employees, or LEEE. Aside from the United States, were there requests coming from the other countries I mentioned a while ago?
Not to us, not that I know of.
But you are aware of the several programs I mentioned a while ago.
Yes, they pointed it out to us that there are programs of other countries similar to what they were requesting.
And if you're familiar with these programs, these are short-term, temporary programs that would entail the processing of Afghans displaced prior to their relocation, for instance, to Australia, United Kingdom, Germany, Canada. Am I correct?
Yes, that's correct, Senator.
So ang mangyayari po sa atin, temporary site controlled by the Philippines, as mentioned by Secretary Manalo, perhaps a site with proper security measures, and perhaps a site funded by the United States. And is the United Nations involved, Mr. Ambassador?
I'm not sure. Perhaps Secretary Manalo could. I don't think the United Nations is involved in this.
Madam Chair, the reason why I'm mentioning this is that as we speak, there are 29 to 33 Filipinos still in Kabul right now, working for various NGOs. We have, correct me if I'm wrong, Secretary Manalo, we have accepted a similar number of Syrian refugees. And during the past decades, we accepted several East Timor refugees. And if hindi pa ako buhay, during the time of President Quezon, syempre po, libo-libo po yung Russian Jews. So the question of distance probably is inapplicable right now. And during the time of President Marcos, we have the South Vietnamese being stationed temporarily in Palawan. So, Mr. Ambassador, kung sakali pong pumunta rito yung Afghans, ang kinakatakutan po kasi ng marami, parang nagkaroon ng stereotyping na suicide bombers ito. Ito po ba mga edukado? Ito po ba mga kababaihan? Ito po ba binubuo ng pamilya na naiwan? Hindi po ito yung mga nakasabit sa eroplano. Ito po yung naiwan doon dahil nagtrabaho sa mga embassies. Tama po ba?
Tama. Hindi, all of them, lahat sila nagtrabaho for the US government in one way or the other. At saka yung kanilang mga pamilya. Kaya it's anywhere between 50 to 60,000 that are still being processed for repatriation to the
And
United
you're
States.
perhaps aware, Mr. Ambassador, that we are a signatory to countless international agreements
Yes.
that should allow us to accept these Afghans
Yes.
in our soil. Tama po ba yun?
That's correct, Senator.
And are you aware of this? I hope my pronunciation is right. I haven't been to France yet, Madam Chair. Refoulement would mean the return of a refugee to her former state against his will, where he will be more threatened by, in this case, the Taliban. So, pag yung nakarating po sa atin, nagdili-dali tayo, pinabalik, marami ho tayong violation. Tama po ba yun, Ambassador?
Yan, hindi ko sigurado yan. Pero ang alam ko lang, the United States government has assured us that whoever that we will allow to come into the Philippines for processing, they will take care of them completely. In other words, if they are for some reason denied the SIV that the processing will take place, they will be immediately sent to another or a third country.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. One last point, Madam Chair. Secretary Manalo, correct me if I'm wrong. My data was prepared several weeks ago. More than 90,000 Afghans have been resettled across the United States over the past 20 months. More than 11,000 SIVs were issued to Afghans between October 2021 and September 2022, according to official figures. Tama po ba yan?
I cannot confirm, Mr. Senator.
Yes. Kung sakaling yung tama yung binabanggit nyo na 50,000, 1,000, mapapasama tayo rito sa figures na to. Kung dito ipoprocess to. At the rate they're going, 11,000, halos isang taon, 90,000 ang relocate. May posibilidad ba ho, Mr. Ambassador, na bumagal dahil nandito, natambak sa atin? Meron ba hong ganong posibilidad? O
Well,
nagustuhan na kayo sa tanong ko?
Hindi, nasa sa atin na yun, Senator, na kung ilan ang gusto natin. Pero ang request nila is anywhere between 1,000 to 1,500 per batch. Ipoprocess nila, then they will go to the United States. Kung gusto natin less, pwede rin. Ang tinatanong na sa atin is exactly yung kanilang tinatanong o rini-request sa atin, what is it that we will be able to get back to them that we can accept? In other words, not all of this 30,000 or whatever it is they intend to process will come to the Philippines, and then they will be here and they will wait for their processing. It will be by batches.
Definitely,
And
Mr.
it's
Ambassador.
completely up to us.
Mr. Ambassador, narami ho nakikinig ngayon. Definitely, the Philippines will not be the final destination of these refugees.
Yes, that is
Temporary
absolutely.
lang po sila dito. Ang kinakatakutan ng marami ay baka malahukan ng mga terrorist. Kaya na-elevate na sa Anti-Terrorism Council, etc., etc. Naniniwala po kayo, Mr. Ambassador, na ito pong pinag-uusapan natin ay pangamba na may posibilidad na hindi naman dapat mangyari kasi na-vet na po yun bago dalhin dito.
Correct. Yan ang tama, Senator. Kaya nga, lahat ng ating mga security agencies ay tinatanong ng DFA dahil they also will have to give their comments kung anong tingin nila. Pero yan ang sabi sa atin ng mga Amerikano na they will be vetted first they will be double checked before they come to the Philippines, and then again through processing.
Madam Chair, if I may be allowed to express my personal sentiment, I don't see anything wrong here. Sa tingin ko po, kung talagang na-vet ito, nagkaroon lang ng konting hype, stereotyping, bordering on discrimination. Na siguro naman mabubuting tao yung iba. Yung mga FW po natin nasa iba't ibang bansa, tinatanggap naman po yun. Kasasabi ko lang, merong 33 na Filipinos pa sa Kabul. So siguro kung masasala po ito, wala tayong gastos, nasa secured na lugar, nasa isang isla. I think, Madam Chair, we have abided and complied fully with all our international humanitarian commitments, including the possible erasure of what they term as, quote-unquote, human rights records of our country. Malinis na ho tayo dito. We're getting here with clean hands. Tinulungan po natin yung mga tao na wala namang mga
Okay.
kasalanan. Details will be laid down. But yun lang po yung sentiments ko, Madam Chair. But
Yes,
ang mali lang po dito siguro, yung proseso, shrouded in non-transparency manner, not revealed to the country, not full explained, siguro DFA ang dapat managot yan, pero yung mga Afghans, wala po silang kasalanan. Salamat po, Madam Chair.
Maraming salamat, Senator Tolentino. Ngunit, ang ating tinatanong ngayon